Got it. Got it.
Hi, everybody. This is Zoph, and you are watching Simply SCAdian, no title required. My wonderful co-host Lucas is back with me after a couple weeks off. Welcome back, Lucas. How have you been?
I've been well. Hi, everybody. Sorry about the absence. The beginning of my school year is rough as far as my evenings are concerned. So I beg your patience. I will try to be around as much as I can, and certainly after the holidays, I'll be here all the time. So,
Yay.
so let's get started tonight, huh?
All right.
All right, I've done this in a while, so welcome everyone to Simply SCAdian, no title required. As always, the mission is to bring you the good people of the known world, a little slice of the regular life. We talk about it all the time. We love our peers, we love our people who have achieved in the SCA, but so many of the experiences in the SCA are people who are just like you, who enjoy the society. And maybe for them, they haven't gotten to their peerage yet, or maybe they don't want it. But they are certainly knowledgeable in their area, regardless of what that is. Whether it is, as tonight we're going to talk about service, but in anything, in fighting, in bardic arts, in anything, people have a lot of wonderful knowledge, and we want to bring those people to you. So if you like our content, if you want to see more people like we're going to bring you tonight, jump on that Facebook page, please, and thank you, and nominate somebody. Find somebody from your area that you think we should talk to. Maybe they're doing something interesting with scholarship. Maybe they've been a wonderful fighter for years and they're such a good teacher. Whatever it is, nominate those people. And if you think you're one of those people, put your name on there
Nominate
too.
yourself.
Yeah, nominate yourself. We want to see you. And tonight is no exception. So tonight we'd like to welcome to the show Galliwyn of Ansteorra, currently in Meridiace. Started the SCA in 1983. As time went on, placed themselves on a service track. Didn't want to fight. I don't want to fight. So I get that. I'm a lover, not a fighter. And practiced archery. And we're going to get to this. Has 3 AOAs. And just for a little bit of flavor, Galliwyn camps in a modern tent. So Galliwyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to have you with us. So tell us, how did you find the SCA?
Well, I think it was spring, maybe summer of '83. Went to the local rose garden, which was in a public park, but it was, a little separate. And I came back to my pickup truck because this is Oklahoma. And I said, well, what are they doing? I saw people beating on each other. So I pulled my pickup truck over and dropped the tailgate, and me and my lady just sat there and watched for a few minutes until a nice person came by and said, you know what you're watching? No, don't know what we're watching. Well, here, let me tell you some. And then they gave us a pamphlet about the SCA. That's how I found it.
What is it that caused you to stay? I mean, finding it is one thing, but staying is something completely different.
Well, from being from a military background, I love being around people. And some of my jobs in the mundane world, I was around people a lot. So being around people was the first thing. But to see how the organization ran was another part. Because you do not see a cohesive group like the SCA anywhere else. You really don't, not in my experience.
Mhm.
So you're hanging out on the periph of that first event. Was it a primarily fighting event? What were they doing? Like, what was so interesting to just kind of hang out and watch?
It was fighter practice.
Um,
The Shire at the time, which I later joined when I signed my membership card, uh, was having fighter practice. They said every weekend, unless it's snowing, we're here.
you get a lot of
I
snow in Oklahoma? Wait a minute, what?
Yes,
You do?
yes, Oklahoma has gotten quite a bit during different seasons.
Wow.
I remember a Thanksgiving where we had 6 inches of snow on the ground. On the ground, okay, not just piled up, just on the ground.
Okay. So anyway, so they said that they always meet there unless it's snowing.
Hmm. And I met the seneschal and his wife, and the treasurer, the exchequer, and the newcomer person. So I said, okay, how can I help? Said, you don't want to fight? No, I do archery, thrown weapons, but I don't want to fight. They said, good, we can use help in demonstration and recruiting. I said, that's fine. You know, we went to high schools, we went to elementary schools, we did our demonstrations. We got quite a few people. I actually recruited 2 teenage brothers who said, we want to do that thing you call fencing. I said, well, you know, you have to bring a parent. Okay. So we went to a camping event at a Boy Scout ranch local to northern Oklahoma. And they brought their mother. And a couple of events in, Mom said, well, I'm tired of tenting. So she brought her RV. Then they brought Dad. Dad said, oh, that's interesting, and went back to work. The mother became the seneschal about 2 years after the boys got into it, of that local group. So, yes, I can name names if you want them, of the group anyway. But when I joined, it was the Shire of North Ansteorra, Tulsa, Oklahoma area. And then when we got enough registered members, we became a barony. And it's been a barony ever since.
What was that like being on the ground when a shire became a barony? What was that process like for you and for the
So
group?
for the group in general, it wasn't a lot of difference. However, we, the populace, the members, got to send in our recommendation to the king and queen, who we wanted to be our baron and baroness. Later on, from what I understand, it was a popular vote in the populace to do it. So I think both of those have good and bad things, you know. But my first camping event was, let's see, just a moment. My AI was talking. My first camping event was in Oklahoma City. There's a Girl Scout area, Girl Scout camping area out by a particular amusement park that we used, the group used on a regular basis. I went there and I camped where nobody else was camping because I didn't know anybody. And I was told that, hey, that's okay for now, but next time you got to camp with us. A group of people welcomed me in, said, come on, camp with us. And we had of course feast at Saturday night, which was cooked over an open pit grill. Oh yeah. And then of course the people that you meet, yeah, just enhance the experience.
So I have a question. You talk about when you first joined up, you were in recruiting, basically,
Mhm.
and that's been a big topic on the show over the first couple of years that we've done it. A lot of people are talking about, we'll get to the question at the end that we end with all the time. But one of the things that people talk about all the time is getting that fresh blood in, getting people in. How did you go about recruiting then? And then are you still involved in that now? And that philosophy changed? You know, like do you try different stuff now?
Well, I have. At the beginning, of course, I was just really personable. I was a younger person, like, 30 years ago. And it was in-person recruiting then. And I became the newcomer person in the barony for a little while. So I was on top of it. We had pamphlets to give out. We had names, you could call, say, I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, here's the phone number for that person. Nowadays, of course, it would be emails. But back in the 80s, computers weren't really popular at the time, unless you had to do homework. Nowadays, friends and family, word of mouth, uh, your podcast, I'm sure, has brought many people in over the 3 seasons, if I remember right, that you've been on. So, and and things like this, I point people to your podcast and say, look, go listen to some of these people, see what they're about, see if you want to do anything like that. I support the arts, I do, but I don't do.
You just reap the benefits of delicious feasts and
Ah,
yeah.
and breakfast, Sunday breakfast. Come on.
Oh yeah. So you've been in the SCA for 40 years,
Mm,
which things have really changed. I mean, because I've been in for 30 and I can think back to what it was like when I first joined. So what's been the biggest change for you that you've noticed, for good or for ill?
well, in the group in Ansteorra, Northkeep, I saw, oh, to my wonder and amazement, I saw children grow from babes in arms to getting married. Okay. And we were involved in each other's lives. Hey, what you doing, Saturday night? I'm going to an event. Well, how about that? So am I. So, uh, it's, to me, the group and the society as a whole is a family. We care about each other. We want to make sure that we can get your tent set up and your camp set up. And, one of my first events, we had the list field laid out, had the day canopies put up, for the Royals and everybody. And that night, of course, Oklahoma, we had a small tornado, just a wind NATO, nothing, nothing bad, but a wind NATO. And I woke up the early morning, as I usually did back then, and looked down to the list field, and all the tents were blown over. I don't care how well they had been staked out. They were all the pop-up tents. So me and a few other people went down and stood them back up, staked them back out. And one of the couples that were involved back then, they were also merchants. And they said, how tall are you? 6'1". So good. Here's something for helping out. And they gave me a piece of trim that went around my cloak. Just fit perfectly. So, I don't do it for recognition, never did, never will. But that was the first appreciation I got.
So tell me more about archery. How did you get involved in that?
Well, I didn't start that way, but I always enjoyed shooting a bow and arrow. I hate that they've changed the rules for archery. Used to be wooden bows and wooden arrows. Now it's a little different. But you could use a long bow. I didn't. I used a short bow. And, you know, I instructed children. I instructed a lady friend's child to shoot the bow. And she said, "No, I don't want him to do that. I want him to do it this way." But you told me to instruct him. If you don't want it, you teach him. I'm sorry. I am service. I am not a director. I don't do things that way. If you don't like the way I'm teaching him, you can teach him yourself. But, you make friends and expectations come up, and sometimes they meet them and sometimes they don't.
Were you ever like competitive with it or no?
No,
No.
I did it for fun and exercise. I can still draw a 45-pound bow.
What
So,
about
you know,
weapons? You mentioned thrown weapons too. Was that a more
uh,
recent thing you've gotten into?
no, hatchets and axes. But of course, you have to use what's provided, which is always not always what you practice with.
I didn't know you had to, because I here where I'm from in the mid realm, you can purchase your own and bring them with you to the thrown weapons field. They just have to get inspected by the marshal.
Yeah,
Right.
similar here.
Well, this was, back in the 80s
Right.
and 90s. They said, no, we ask that you use what's going on. Whoever's running the event makes the rules. You know that. So,
Yeah.
it wasn't didn't do as well as I would have with my own, but no problem.
And
You
what
know.
about Gulf Wars? Have you been to Gulf Wars?
Oh, yes. Wonderful Gulf War. I was there before Ansteorra put up their gate, the most popular gate in Gulf War. A couple of years before we got the gate together, I was there. Uh, at the time, I was a kite urchin, which is no longer allowed in the SCA. But doesn't mean I don't keep a first aid kit in my dang pack. But uh, but I was kite urchin in Gulf Wars. I did some security, for Gulf Wars. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, stretching on that word. A lot of alcohol flowing, not necessarily your own. And the entertainment at the Green Dragon Inn was fantastic.
Can you tell our listeners about the Green Dragon Inn for anybody who doesn't know about it?
Well, the Green Dragon Inn is, or used to be, across from the Ansteorra encampment. It is a place to gather and to listen and or perform before everybody. I mean, I know, and I'm going to drop a name. Heather Dale had been there quite a few times. I saw her at Penzic 50. She was on stage for an hour there. So, anybody, if you go to YouTube and look up SCA, and then you find the Bards or somebody playing at the Green Dragon Inn, that's at Gulf Wars. There are, of course, vendors for food, clothing, everything else you could want at events.
So the Green Dragon, I was honored to perform there once.
Where
At
you,
the second Gulf Wars, and they have the main room with a bar, and above the bar is a balcony, and that's where the performers go. They go up on the balcony and perform for everybody. And
mm-hmm.
it's incredible to be in the audience to hear all these performers. It's just impressive, and it's curated. It's a
Oh
juried
yeah.
performance. Not everybody's
Mhm.
allowed to invited to perform, I should say. So it's really, if you ever go to Gulf Wars, go to the Green Dragon Inn.
At,
Absolutely.
at least one night. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
but
few friends in that area, a few friends from Meridius, as a matter of fact, and I, they talk about it all the time. It's a bad time of year if you're a teacher to try to get down there.
spring break, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
They try to make it around spring break, but and I haven't been there since the new owners took over, so I don't know what improvements have been made.
Yeah, I'm curious because I think I'm going this year, so I'm interested to see if the showers are any less primitive. That would be nice.
Oh yes, let's talk about the open face showers.
And the fire ants. Although I learned that at
Oh,
Penzic you have to just bring a loaf of white bread, and every day you put a slice of white bread on top of the fire ant nest.
hmm,
But every morning you have to make an offering to the fire ants so they don't
yes.
come find you.
Oh yeah.
This is why I have a shower in my camp.
There you go. Well, yeah, but that doesn't keep the ants away.
It's off the ground. It's beautiful.
Hmm. Oh
You
yeah.
you, you have a pirate ship in your camp.
I do have a pirate ship too.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm Raven Spittle. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Been
definitely
there,
one
done
of
that.
those people.
Been there, done that. Yes.
So
I
let's
mean,
talk about these three AOAs, because like normally people get one and then they move on. How did you get three AOAs?
okay. In the Kingdom of Ansteorra, I received my first AOA for service in that Winter Kingdom event, the Winter Kingdom event there. My wife had passed away that October, and when we had the Winter Kingdom, they presented me with my first AOA. The second AOA I got from a friend of mine who became Baron and didn't look at the OP. And I took it. I mean, you're not going to refuse it. I said, sir, I already have one. He said, I didn't know that. you know. And the third one is an award that carries an AOA with it in the Kingdom of Ansteorra in service. The award is called the Sable Crane, the Order of the Sable Crane. Meridies, it's I can't think of the equivalent right now, but it's the first recognized award for it. I didn't ask for it. It was given to me by a beloved baroness from another baron, from another barony in Ansteorra. So that's how I got my three AOAs and have that title. so
Have any other awards?
uh, I I've got my scrolls for all three of them, but I don't remember any others at the moment.
Got to. Well, I'm sure you've got baronial awards at least.
At least.
At least. So what is it about service that draws you in?
Well, I've always been taught to help people. I didn't want to fight, I love said. And then, service is about the only thing besides arts and sciences, you know, that I would have been interested in. And my hands don't work for arts and sciences. So it's just seeing things that need to be done and doing them. That's,
So when do you still do service in Meridius?
oh,
Then?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long have you been in Meridius as opposed to how long you were in Ansteorra?
Let's see, I came to Meridies in 2017, so I've been here 6 years. Been to a few events, helped out when I could, but no awards in Meridies, which doesn't bother me.
for me because I'm blanking on exactly where Meridies is. Isn't that Georgia?
No, it's the Panhandle of Florida,
Yes. Okay.
Alabama,
Hmm.
Georgia, most of Tennessee, and some of Kentucky.
Okay.
A
That's
rather
pretty good.
large section of the Southeast. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say that's a really big area.
Because one of our
It
good
is.
friends lives in Tennessee. Fiona is from
Hmm.
Meridies, so she's a great bard if you ever have a chance and you're into Norse stuff. So that's what we haven't talked about yet. What's your persona? Did you pick a persona in the essay, or are you just sort of Galliwyn and that's it?
No, I am and have been in Ansteorra, one of the Queen's privateers,
Oh.
one of the members of the naval society, naval part of it. And there's a rank that goes with it. I'm not going to talk about it.
But we want you to talk about it. We want to know all about it. Come
It
on.
says it says no titles. Come on.
No, no, no. That just means no peers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely no peers. Uh, oh, let's see here. Well, depending on what event it is, we do raids on the other people's uh, campsites. The people that are not from our group. You know, we don't take things that'll miss, or we take things and return them. That kind of thing. Just It was just fun, all in good cheer.
So did you start this in Ansteorra or did you join a group of shenaniganators?
Yeah, I joined a couple of groups of shenanigans, but
I know some of those people.
You
I'm
are
sure
some
you
of those
do.
people.
I am some of those people. Um, so um, so with that particular group, I mean, is that like so Galliwyn, like going into your persona, do you play with a particular time period or a particular area or whatnot, as far as that's concerned?
Well, the late period, about 1450 or so, my name, which I did not register until this physical year, passed first time in less than 3 months.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
I got fast tracked because one of the researchers for heraldry in the kingdom did my name. She said, "Oh, we just got to put first of all, it started with one L. Now it has two because it's dramatic, not dramatic."
Mhm.
But I've been using it forever, and it passed just with one little addition.
So what keeps you from playing too much in the SCA now?
Well, currently the group that I belong to here in Ridges is a small shire, very small. We have maybe 5 paid members. There are groups around that we play with. Earlier this year, I went to an event called Black Axe, hosted by I believe, the Barony of Iron Mountain. And I helped as usual. I'm sorry. I also did gates or troll, if you wish, for a lot of events on Stiora. I did one here. So service, you know. Besides that, you get to meet everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Put faces with names.
What kind of event was Black Axe?
It was a fighting event, small fighting event. Uh, it was for all I think that all the monies went to a cat rescue. So that kind of thing.
That's something that came up. Maybe the three of us can have a quick talk about it. Why don't more SCA groups donate to other nonprofit organizations? Like we have a Toys for Tots tourney that, I think most kingdoms have at least one of those. But
Hmm.
why don't we, as a nonprofit, I mean, I know of groups that have like $10,000 or more in their bank account. So why don't they do events that are geared towards helping another nonprofit? Why isn't that popular in the SCA?
Personally, I don't know. I wish there were more, yes, but I don't know why they have it. Oh, we're saving up for a baronial tent. We're going to do hand paint the whole thing and all that. That's one of the reasons they don't do it. Because I know several groups like that, and they say, no, we got to repair this tent. We got to fix this tent. We got to, you know, get them new chairs for the Baron and Baronesses or the King and Queen. You know, that's a small amount. That's not all of your money.
Right.
Yeah, I know here for Quest, which is an event for us in May, which is a camping event, multi-day. In the past, people have arranged like almost a silent auction with various things and whatnot, and all that's gone to particular charities and whatnot. But that's the only one that I can think of around here. You'd think with an event like Penzig, I mean, there's the Paladin
Paladin's
yeah,
Pantry that
Paladin
gathers
Pantry.
Hmm.
canned goods and
Yep.
non-perishable foods at the
Yeah,
end of the event to give to the local food shelter,
yeah,
Hmm. Sure do.
food bank, excuse me.
Yeah, same thing.
but yeah, I mean that's a really good question as to why we don't, take more of our events and kind of guide them towards something. It would, it might give might give people I don't know, a better reason to go,
Yeah,
but maybe in some cases if they're on a fence, a reason to go.
right. If I
You
go
know,
to this event, they'll be donating half of the proceeds to the local food bank, local animal shelter, local whatever.
cancer research, something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, let's get cracking on that. The three of us are going to make it happen.
And I can put in a good word with a couple of people. Yeah. Even here in Meridias, I've got contacts.
So if you could give any piece of advice to someone joining the SCA now, what would that advice be?
Take it slow, figure out what you want to do and where it fits in the SCA. If you want to do ANS, do ANS. If you want to fight, go fight. If you want to do archery, thrown weapons, nail binding, you know, if it was done in the Middle Ages, someone, usually within a kingdom, does it. Blacksmithing, cooking, the whole 9 yards. Somebody does it in the SCA.
I think take your go slow is a really good piece of advice. I know a lot of people who jump in to join a household as soon as they join and then they regret it later. If they just relaxed and took their time, took a little more time before they dove in to the deep end. And do we push people, you think, to dive into the deep end to make them feel like they need to belong?
Lucas, go ahead.
Oh well, yeah, I would say yes. I mean, again, I skirted the periphery of the SCA for 15 years. I did stuff without doing stuff, and what turned me off initially was I started as a fencer with and I just kind of felt like I had a martial arts background, and I always felt like you have to earn everything. Martial arts background, like you're learning all these basics and whatnot. And here I was, I'd been fencing for a month, and it was like, show up and just do pickups and just fight and fight and fight. And I'm like, but shouldn't I be learning all these basics? And I felt like I felt like I was being groomed to be somebody's cadet when I didn't even know what in the hell that meant and
Hmm.
whatnot. And it very much turned me off to the whole process. But it's also a byproduct of my personality. I try to like like I'm going to do all the things and then go in and yeah, it just never felt right. But since I've kind of found a slower way in, it was always much better for me. Um, so I do agree with that. But yeah, I do think we push. What about you, Galliwyn? What do you think?
Well, I know from personal experience that fighters want you to fight. They want you to jump in and say, here, put on some armor, let me beat on you. Like you said, just throw you into the middle of stuff. And that's not the way it should be, in my opinion. You should be welcoming, say, hey, come watch us. If you want to, we can show you a few moves. And then we can show you how to put on your armor. We can loan you armor, and you can hit me too, not just be a pell.
Yeah, I worked with a guy who for an hour I was picking up my sword. All he did was disarm me for an hour. And finally I got so frustrated that I said to him, I said, well, aren't you going to tell me what I'm doing wrong? You know what I mean? And then I got a very BS excuse from a guy. I never really saw him again, SCA wise. I couldn't even tell you who his name is. But he was like, well, I'm training to get this particular level of this and fencing and whatnot. So while I can fence you, I can't really coach you right now. So it was just, yeah.
You shouldn't have even been playing with him then.
No,
And
Not-
again, I went from that, which was a terrible experience, to me sort of angrily stuffing things in a fencing bag. And a guy I was friends with who again was on the periphery of the SCA, a good fencer, but great stage combat performer. He came over and he was like, "You want to do some pickups?" And then endless stream of 4-letter words later, he was like, "Come on, let's just do the thing." And that kind of pulled me back because he was much better than I was, but I killed him a little bit, he killed me a little bit, you know what I mean? Like we talked about it and it was fun, but like that whole kind of thing just really set me off. So yeah, again that I just want to win, so I'm gonna fight all the new people thing is I think that's a very real assessment of some fighters. I don't want to be unfair to everybody.
Well, but I think it's also just, we have groups that I know of where, certain heads of households snatch them on their second meeting or their first meeting and, don't let them give them time to explore and grow in the SCA. As a peer, you don't get invited to join my little band of misfits unless I've known you for a long time and the other people like the other minions like you too. Like it's a whole process to make sure that you're the right fit because I had the wrong fit my first time with a peer and it really soured me on being with any peer at all and made me doubly sure that I want to every year I ask, are we still good? Do you want out? If you want out, just tell me you want out and there's no harm, no foul. I've had students that have said, yeah, this isn't for me. And I go, okay, and we're still really great friends. But too many people push people into, you have to be an apprentice or protege or squire or cadet. You have to do this. You have to do that. Choose a persona, choose a name, or we'll pick one for you. And it's some horrible name. Like the hazing, I guess, is what I'm thinking of too. That's just can be really horrible in the SCA.
Now, Galliwyn,
just like
have you ever felt that way? Like, has anybody ever pressured you as far as like service to like go the Pelican track or no?
people that know me wouldn't do that, and the people that are peers that know me don't do that. I've never been pressured to say, oh, do this, do this, do this. No, I've never been directed to do something specific to get an award. Never have, never will. And at my stage in my society life and in my real life, I've become a fairly decent bard.
Oh,
So Fairly decent, yes. And Fiona, I know. Yeah.
Oh, so what do you do? Are you a storyteller, a singer?
All of the above. I do not play an instrument. This is my instrument right here. And at Penzic 50, every night I was at a fire.
Nice.
Yeah, especially the chocolate party. Oh
I
my
missed it
God.
this year. So was it good this year?
They had garlic chocolate.
Garlic chocolate? How was it?
Garlic. Oh my God. Garlic was just so subtle. I mean, really subtle. If you didn't know it was supposed to be there, you wouldn't have tasted it. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, they had, you know how they have the books with all the chocolate in them?
Yeah.
They had 5 books.
So what is it? Wait, newbie in the room. What's a chocolate bardic?
A certain camp says, "Oh, come do Bardic, and we also have chocolate."
Okay.
Hey, you
Part
don't
of
have to participate.
chocolate.
Well, you don't have to perform. You don't have to be part of the audience, but you come into the tent. They let you choose a chocolate or hot chocolate, whatever you want, and you can come listen to everybody perform. You know, we had at least 50 audience members
Wow.
and 20 or 30 bards this year. A couple of groups, mostly singles.
Nice. Okay, let's ask the last question because I'm fading. Sorry, friends in the audience, just so you know, I have pneumonia. So I'm still kind of punky. That's why I keep yawning. It has nothing to do with the incredible, amazing Galliwyn. It has to do with Zoph is sick. So I think we're gonna wrap up a little early. So let's go ahead and ask the last question. Lucas.
So Galliwyn, what can we as a society do better?
As a society, we could become more involved in the community. We could show people with displays in the local libraries. We did that in Ansteorra. We put up a 3-tiered display. We had, the monthly newsletter. We had a piece of armor. We had, a weapon, and the folder, the trifold at the time, and that, and of course, contact information, and that got a few people. And I think we could do that more so now online if you just say, "Hey, this is what we do, and here's the contact information."
So do you think we're too insular?
Currently, not as much as we have been, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, we I know that the SCA still reaches out. I know there's a college in Oklahoma that supports the SCA. They have a medieval fair there every year, and the SCA, the college hosts it, but the SCA is one of the founding sections. We got display tent about halfway around a circle, like a cul-de-sac, fighting in the middle, fight displays and royalty and everybody around that. So the fighting is a central thing. And of course, young people say, "Oh, Daddy, can I do that?" Daddy said, "I don't know, son." I said, "Well, here, try on this helm. We have kitty helms. Oh my God, it's a football helmet." Yes, it is.
A little heavier than a football helmet, though,
Well, not for youth,
for you, right?
not for youth. Yeah. But yes. And then I say, "Here, Dad, try on this helm." He said, "My God, I can't see anything past here." And no, you can't. You know, that's one of the things about fighting. You got to be aware of everything. You have no idea where the next shot is coming from. But we'd have weapons laying around. Of course, nobody touched them except us. And we did demos like that. We've done, like I said, demos in high schools and junior highs and high schools and elementary schools. What I love about elementary schools is you have their attention. The entire school is there. And they say, "Oh, can I touch it?" I said, "No, you're going to get cut." Because I was wearing live steel at the time, you know. I said, "No, it's real. Just believe it." They said, "Oh, okay. Can I touch your belt?" "Yeah, you can touch the belt. That's not a problem." "Yes, it's a real belt." But can I get mommy and daddy? "Yes, please." Bring mommy and daddy, you know. But I know a lot of recruitment happens that way, probably all around the known world, you know. Get the kids involved, parents will follow. They may not stay around, but they will follow.
Yeah.
And in my honest opinion, I think we're doing a fairly good job of bringing in new people.
Okay.
Great.
And now I have to watch this so I can see all the comments.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Galliwyn. It's been really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me and inviting me, even though it wasn't me who was supposed to be here.
Well, the other person, she'll be on in 2 weeks, the person you nominated. So even better.
Good.
Yeah,
Yay.
we'll get you both. We'll get you both. It'll be great.
Yeah. All right. You have been watching Simply SCAdian, no title required. We will be back in 2 weeks. Well, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'll be back in 2 weeks because Lucas is not going to be there because he's got other things to do.
I don't have, let me just say it this way. I don't have more important things to do. I have like life have to do contractual obligations. I am not choosing anything over Simply SCAdian.
He's the sassy apprentice, y'all.
I am the sassy apprentice. Yeah. So
all right, thanks everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.